Hey guys, what is up? I hope you're having a good day in the midst of everything that is going on. I've been thinking a lot about this lately, and I wanted to hop on here and just bring a little pep talk. I know there's so much heaviness, hardships, and heartbreak that is going on in our world right now. And my hope in this is that you're able to leave feeling encouraged, that you're able to leave with some tangible things that you can start applying in your daily life right now. And with everything that's going on, that this is something that can bring some life back into it. And so I hope that that is what you guys get from this video today. And get your coffee. I want this to just be like a little living room chat. I'm gonna make my coffee, so I hope that you'll join me and we'll get started from there. But let's make our coffee and get cozy. Okay. Also, I will make note, this is one of the days that I actually got ready for the day, and it does make a difference. So I want to encourage you guys, if you're not feeling productive or which is also okay, I want to validate those feelings. This doesn't have to be a productive time for everyone, and rest is productive too. So, but if you're wanting a little bit of a change up, to throw on something that makes you feel good, to kind of add to that. So it's kind of nice. Anyways, let's get our coffee and get started. All right, guys, I snagged my coffee, and I hope you grabbed yours and that you're really liking it as well. Doing a little sip. Anyways, it's been super rainy here today, and finally the sun is out, but I actually have been loving the rain lately. It's nice. It's been keeping us a little bit more cozy in this time, making staying inside feeling a little bit better. But I wanted to hop on here and have this little pep talk because there is so much going on in our world right now, and I want to hopefully bring some encouragement to where you might be at right now. And I did take some notes. I did bring them to the table, just so I don't forget things, like I am right now. Getting started with this, before I dive into the things that I'm hoping are practical and you can start applying and hopefully see as some good little nuggets that you can take in your life and start applying them, I wanted to talk about, I want to be mindful of when I am being optimistic or being positive in this situation. I am very aware of what's going on. I am in tune with what's going on, but I'm not drenching my life in my circumstance. I'm not watching the news all day. I'm just tuning in to make sure that I'm updated, I'm informed, and that I'm making sure that I'm able to do what I can to help flatten the curve, and when I go to the grocery store that I'm doing it well and that I'm protecting others as I'm going into those places. So that is one thing that is a big thing, is there's a delicate balance between being aware and just sitting in it. And rather than sitting in that stuff, I'm rooting myself in so many other things. Some of my friends have been asking how I've been grounding myself in this time, and being really honest, that goes straight into my faith. And because I have hope in a God that isn't surprised by my circumstance, by our circumstances, his character doesn't waver in these things that come and go in this life. It's more foundational, and getting practical, like being able to like read my Bible every day and being able to be in communication with God and in prayer and not wavering. It's basically like rooting myself in something deeper than just my circumstance. And so that's one of the things that I would say like is keeping me grounded in this time, is because I have a hope that is long term and that is not swayed by what's going on in our world. And so that's kind of like, if you saw my post earlier this week, it's the lens that I'm seeing my circumstances through. And so that I can be better at loving on people, being able to serve people in this time from a distance, obviously. But yeah, so that's kind of like the lens where I'm seeing it. But I'm hoping that as I'm talking through these things, it's not smoothing over what's going on right now. I'm just hoping that it'll bring some light and some encouragement to where you might be at right now. So there are 3 things that I wanted to talk on, and some of the opportunities that I feel like this can be bringing is connectedness, focus, and opportunities. And so for the first one with connectedness, I really think it's deepening relationships. And in a world right now where we're physically distanced, that was something that I really liked. One of my friends, their job, she works in healthcare right now, they're shifting that terminology from social distancing to physical distancing. And I really like that switch, because you might not be there in person, but there's other ways to connect with people in your community, and how you're being intentional with reaching out to people and in checking in on them and encouraging. And so it's bringing in that kind of connectedness that has an opportunity to deepen relationships and to bridge the gaps that we might not have saw before. And I think as we're scattered, like that doesn't mean that we have to stop connecting with people. You don't have to stay isolated in this time. I would encourage you to reach out to people that you might not have talked to in a while, or call your parents, call your family. If it's super complicated, like I know there's a lot that's going on right now, and granted, I don't know your situation, so like I want to be mindful of like when I'm saying those things, but I think it's just an opportunity to reach out to people that you might not have talked to in a while. And in this time of deepening relationships, the opportunities through social media, showing up on there and being able to encourage people and to bring truth into that, and to be able to share your faith, to be able to affirm people that you see are showing up well in life in general. And you could even have like virtual game nights. I think it is a blessing with the amount of technology that we have in our world right now, to be able to text people, to be able to FaceTime people, to be able to hop on a Zoom call and do virtual game nights, to have church service like from afar, to just connect with people in that way. And so I think it's bringing some opportunities in how we're connecting with people, and it's asking us to get creative in how we do that. So there's that. It's also helping us like redefine our focus. So in the midst of all of this change, as distractions are getting pulled from our life, I think it's really helping us hone in on like what's important and what matters most in this life. And so it's helping us shift our focus and get a clearer focus on what we should be looking at right now. And I know, like, especially for this year, I don't know if you guys have words of the year. For mine, I had 3, and one of them was clarity. And I feel like I've been getting a lot of clarity on just like what this next season could look like, how I'm using my time well right now. But I really think it's helping bring light of like what's important in this life. And I think especially in a culture where it glorifies busyness, like those distractions can, a lot of those distractions are really good, if it's constantly being in those distractions, sometimes we can lose our focus. And so it's really important to just kind of like reorient it. And I think this is an opportunity to reorient that focus. And as you're figuring out like what matters most in this life, I would encourage you just to lean into that. I think it's also like bringing to light what we could be doing as people, like how we could be serving people better. There's different organizations that I've been talking to my friends who organizations are already reorienting how they're doing things. And so it's bringing some opportunities of how they could be doing things better, or how they could have been doing some things before, and how some of them are actually planning on keeping some of in those methods in the future of where they're going. And there's a lot of opportunities in that to be able to serve their employees better. And hopefully, I know that's like an overgeneralizing statement, but I think there are some opportunities to be able to serve people well in that. And then I think there's just a lot of opportunities in general around bringing to like the third point. I think it's bringing a lot of healing in a lot of ways, because our world is like, everyone's on pause right now. And I know not everyone, I think there's a lot of essential employees that are working their butts off in the fields that are in. And a huge thank you for what you're doing if you're in those fields, risking your lives and risking so much other things in that. Like, it just blows my mind. And if you are on pause right now, being able to find true rest. And I think our world is kind of just like in that rest mode. And if you have the opportunity to find rest, I think that is like so big, especially again, going back to the busyness. Like, this is a time to kind of dig in and figure out like, what does that look like? And I think it can bring in a lot of healing as well. So like a healing, like if you want, like doing like self-improvement. So like what are some things that you want to work on this next season? If you want to seek a therapist, if you want to seek a coach, if you want to seek a mentor, like what are some things that you can grow in this season, kind of investing in yourself in that. And what are some ways that, like, even in that, like going back to the connectedness, like it's bringing a lot of healing in different relationships and a lot of healing in those areas. And I think there's like so much goodness in that. And going back to like even like more opportunities, I think in the business world, in the entrepreneurial, literally wherever you're at, like I think it's asking us to get creative in how we're doing things. And even if you're an entrepreneur or you've been sitting on an idea for a while, like this might be the perfect time to be able to launch those things well, and to be able to bring your business into a world, to be able to serve people well, and to bring your gifting to other people in this time. And if there's different things that are holding you back, I would just encourage you to lean into that and kind of navigate through what's holding you back right now. And this might be a great time to be able to launch those things and to bring them into this world, and to be able to serve people well in that. So I think there's a lot of opportunities in that. So those were kind of like the three things that I wanted to chat about. I know this is already getting like a long video, but bringing more connectedness and a focus and different opportunities. And so on a practical side, I would just encourage you, like what are some people that you want to reach out? What relationships do you want to repair in this time? What relationships do you want to pour into in this time? How can you serve your community around you? How can you, as a believer, how can you reflect who Jesus is and where you're serving and how you're serving? When it comes to focus, how can you reorientate your focus right now? Like, what are you focusing on? What matters most in your life right now? And how can you implement that in this current season, and then as it shifts into the next season as well, like how can you bring that focus of what matters that doesn't change with our circumstance, if that makes sense. And then what are some opportunities with where you're at right now that you can seek out, that you're able to find in your workplace, in, if you're not working right now, in resting, if to be able to find like what brings joy to you, like what are you good at? That is a privilege, and in this restful time being able to possibly find like what brings joy to you and like what you're good at. For me personally, I know that this has been a time to kind of like find what those things are and like what I'm drawn to, and so that's another opportunity in that. So as you guys are like looking for those opportunities, I would just encourage you to keep your eyes open for those kinds of opportunities. I hope that was encouraging for you guys. If you are struggling right now or you're feeling isolated, please reach out. We are in this together. You are not alone in this. And I want to know how I can be best supporting you and be praying for you. If you're looking for different resources or community, I would love to get you connected. I care about you guys and I am so passionate about community, so please don't hesitate to reach out. You can either comment on this video or find me on Instagram. I'll put that in the description below. But you don't have to stay isolated, so please reach out. And I know I normally don't do this on my channel, but I would just love to pray over you guys. I believe prayer is powerful and I care about you guys, so if you don't mind and if you would join me, I would love to just pray over you guys real quick. Alright, so we'll dive on into that. Dear God, this time is so wild right now, God, and I know there's literally so much to be praying for right now, and honestly words come up short with just all the things to pray for right now, God. I just want to pray over our essential workers right now, Lord, as they're working long shifts, as they're risking a lot of things out there right now. I pray protection over them from the virus, Lord, and I just pray that you would bring strength and rest to them, God. And I pray for people who are, their living situation is not the best living situation, God. I pray for protection over them, God. I pray that you just bring them into an environment that is just healing and brings more restoration, God. I pray for people with financial burdens, God, with a lot of job losses right now, God. You are a provider, God, in ways that only you can provide, God. And Lord, I just pray that I just pray over people that are feeling isolated, God, that they would just feel your presence so strongly, God. And not only that, that a community would just surround them, God, and just show them that they're not alone, that they are cared for, and that they are loved, and that they are seen, God. I just pray as these things, as a lot of things in our world right now are coming to light, like in organizations, how things are getting dealt with, God, I just pray that it would be done well, and just discernment and the decisions that are being made. And I just pray over our leaders right now, that as in those kinds of roles, God, I just pray that just how to navigate the decisions and just to care for people well. I just pray over this week, Lord, and I just pray over your protection over everyone, Lord, and just to bring healing as well in relationships. I pray it would bring healing in community. And I just pray that, Lord, you just move radically in this, Lord, that there would be so much goodness that can come out of it, come through it, God. And that just people feel your presence, God, and feel your love. In Jesus' name, amen. I hope that encourages you guys. If you think it would encourage someone else, feel free to share it. And again, I know I will keep saying this, but we're not alone in this. Don't hesitate to reach out. I'd love to just keep the community going and be connected with you guys. So feel free to just say hey too. So I hope you have a good week, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.